Hello everybody, welcome to our Upper Key Stage 2 live webinar. We're hopefully going to answer some of the questions that you may have about your children in Year 5 and 6's return to school this year. This is being recorded, so just so you're aware of that, you'll be able to watch it back. It will be sent out to you. Could go to the next slide, please, Vanessa. Thank you. So, obviously, I'm Miss Jessica, and I'm going to be the head of Upper Key Stage 2 this year. As you can see in the picture above, you can see my head of Year 5, Mr. Ben, and my head of Year 6, Miss Chloe. I'm going to pass over to Mr. Ben now, and he's going to introduce our Year 5 team on the next slide.
Hello everyone, it's nice to meet you. Being virtual, it's best we can do at these times, but it's still nice to meet you anyway. So we've got our team of teachers here this year for Year 5, as you can see, and hopefully you've had plenty of contact from the teachers for your child this year. We are still trying to fix the emails for Miss Hanan and Miss Amrita, but if you have any worries or concerns, please pass them on to myself and we can get those issues fixed for you. We've got a great team of teachers for you and your children this year, and we all can't wait to meet you and your children and to get back into the teaching of children either in school or via distance learning starting next week. I'm going to pass you over to Miss Chloe now, who's the head of Year 6.
Hello parents, hello everybody. I'm Miss Chloe, the head of Year 6 for this academic year. So as you can see, this is my Year 6 team. We have a lovely set of teachers this year who are really excited to work with you as parents and with your children this year. We have 2 new members of staff new to Dubai who are really excited and looking forward to meeting you all. Miss Joanne unfortunately didn't have email access until yesterday, so I was emailing on behalf of her. However, that is now resolved. Yeah, so we're all looking forward to meeting you all and welcoming you back to GFS. I will now pass you over to Jessica again.
And if we could move on to the next, thank you, brilliant. So, here are our timetables and school day timings. They haven't changed since last year. The only thing that has changed is that we are allowing you to drop your children off at school from 7 AM. They must be in school before 7:45. If they come to school after 7:45, they will be marked as late. At the moment, our break times will be inside because of social distancing requirements. However, class teachers will ensure that your child gets movement breaks during the day. In terms of a class personal timetable, these are all still been finalised and they will be given to you via Teams from your child's class teacher before the children return to school. Next slide, please, Vanessa. So just a bit more information about arrival and pickup. You should have seen this posted before, and it should have already been sent out to you, so I'm not going to read it through. The main thing is that this year we will not be having a late room because we cannot put children from different bubbles and classes in the same space. So it's really, really important that your children are picked up by a single parent or carer from the Mugger Court at 2:20 PM. Thanks, Vanessa. And I'm going to pass on to Mr. Ben, who's going to talk about social distancing and how your learning will look this year.
Thank you. So obviously returning back to school, we do need to keep our social distancing and safety at the highest standards we possibly can. So the school have installed thermal scanners, and I'm sure you've seen these when you've been going to the malls or to anywhere in Dubai over the last few weeks. So your child will be scanned on arrival in the morning, and obviously if they have a normal temperature, they'll be allowed into school. Any children with a high temperature will be asked to come for a further check. Once your child reaches the classroom, every child will be sat at least 1.5 meters apart. They will have their own table, and that will be their own table and chair for the entire term. Your child will receive a number when they come into their classroom for the first time, and that will be their number for the rest of the year. Children will not be using the school lockers this term, and they will be allowed to bring in a small bag for the day that contains all the things they will need. That includes their snacks and their water bottles as well. Next slide, please, Vanessa. So what will learning look like in GEMS Founders this year? So you will have been passed on the information whether your child is in the red or blue bubble. So they'll be doing alternate days in school. So 1 week they will be doing Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and the next week they will be in school Monday, Wednesday. That is, of course, if you have opted for blended learning. Some of you will have opted for 100% distance learning, and it will be running the same sort of way as it was in the end of term in the last academic year. We will be asking children to bring in their own devices. That will be key for their work in Upper Key Stage 2. They'll need to bring their own equipment, their own books and their own bags. They will not be given any resources from the school to keep contamination, obviously, risks to a minimum. Once your child comes into their classroom, they will stay in that classroom for the entire day, apart from if they're going to the toilets, and we'll go through all of that, the safety procedures next week during our online inductions, or if your child comes into school to meet their teacher. And again, the specialist teachers your child will have, they will come to your child's class. So they will come into school in the morning, come straight to their classroom, and they will stay there for nearly the entire day. And then they will go home to the Mugger Court and meet you at 2:20. Thank you. I'm going to pass you over to Miss Chloe. Sorry, Miss Jessica, sorry.
Okay, so how will your child access learning from home? So those of you that were with us last term, it will be in a very similar fashion. So we really want to encourage those children that are at home to be as much of a part of the class as possible. So like before, the day's learning will be posted on the children's class teams. We're going to have webcams installed in every classroom, and teachers will be issued with a microphone. So when children join those live sessions, it will be like they are there in the classroom, even if they are at home. After that main input, teachers will then tell the children at home to turn off their microphones and complete their work at home. At some point, whether that is online after the lesson, or they invite the children back into the classroom via their live session, they will be fed back to and checked in on. So we do really want to make those children at home feel like they are a part of the class. Next slide, please. So where will your child find that learning, and how will they access the live lessons? So your child's class teacher will have created a class teams that will look something similar to the image that you can see on the screen. As you can see, all the learning is organised into folders by day, and for example, all the learning for Sunday will be uploaded into Sunday's folder. There will also be a live session links channel that you can see here with the red arrow, and all children need to do is click on the live session and their teacher will set that up. All they've got to do is join and respond. And those of you that were with us last academic year will know exactly how to do this. Thanks, Vanessa. So your children will evidence their learning on Seesaw. Think of Seesaw like your child's book. they will upload evidence of all their learning onto those relevant activities on Seesaw. All logins will be emailed to you or sent to you via Teams by your child's class teacher before the start of the academic year. And if we just can try and play the video on the slide, this will show you how easy it is to go from Teams to Seesaw.
Access the distance learning step. Once you have opened Teams, click on the General tab, then click on Files. Once you've clicked on Files, click on Distance Learning. Within the Distance Learning folder, you will find the relevant folders for each and every subject. So, for example, I'm going to click in the ILP folder. Inside the ILP folder, you will find relevant lessons. In each activity, it is clearly labelled with the lesson, the date and the content. The ILP topic work, the 8th of March 2020, and this is about social reformers. Once you've clicked on the presentation and you have read the instructions for the task, your child then needs to upload their work to Seesaw, evidence of their learning to Seesaw. In order to do this, open the internet and search for Seesaw. Your child's class teacher will have given you the QR code or access code to log in. You will then click on the Activities tab and you will see all of the activities that have been assigned to your child. In order to add a response, click the Add a Response button and you will see that your child has the option to add in a photo, a drawing, a video, a link, a note, or to upload a document. I can upload a note. I press the green tick and I press the green tick again to upload my work to the activity. This will then be approved by your child's class teacher and they will be given relevant feedback. I hope this helps.
Go on to the next slide, please, Vanessa. Thank you. So how will they receive their feedback? So for the time being, all books are going to remain home for sanitisation purposes. If this changes, we will update you. We'll update you on that. All teacher feedback is going to be given via Seesaw. It may be written as a comment, it may be an audio comment, or it may simply be a like. We also encourage our children in upper key stage 2 to assess their work themselves or to have a peer assess their work. Please note that not every single piece of work submitted on Seesaw will receive detailed feedback, but we endeavour to do that as much as possible to help your child. So, moving on to the curriculum in upper key stage 2. Our curriculum is thematic based and we want to encourage critical thinking and inquiry based learning. Where possible, the majority of learning will be linked to the overarching theme. A curriculum map will be provided for parents at the start of every half term to give you more information about the skills that your children will be covering this half term. In maths, we use a scheme called Power Maths. Again, those of you that are not new to the school will be very familiar with Power Maths. For those of you that are new to the school, it's a really fantastic way of teaching maths and it's really easy to get used to. At the moment, we can't have children being able to visit the library. However, reading is really important and we would encourage children to read the class timely text or any book of their choice for at least 10 minutes a day. Now I'm going to firstly pass over to Mr. Ben, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the Year 5 curriculum, and after that to Miss Chloe, who will tell you a little bit more about the Year 6 curriculum.
Thank you. So as you can see, our first area of work for the first 2 weeks of school will be our book project. And our book for Year 5 is The Turtle's Secret by Julia Johnson. It's a fantastic book based in the UAE, actually. It's a story based of characters and a setting of the UAE. And then we'll move on to our other topics. So in term 1, our overarching theme is going to be the pharaohs from ancient Egypt. So a lot of our lessons will be based around that topic there. In science, we're going to be looking at materials Geography, we'll be looking at things like climate change, mountains and rivers. Moral education, we're going to look at compassion and empathy. In social studies, it will be some history work of the history of the UAE. Maths will be looking at place value, and English will be looking at stories and narratives. In fiction and in non-fiction, looking at newspapers and biographies. Again, all this information will be emailed to you, so you have a chance to prepare your children and get some idea of what they're going to be studying this term. And I'll hand you over to Miss Chloe, who will go through the Year 6 curriculum.
Okay, so looking at the Year 6 curriculum, so we will firstly start 2 weeks looking at our book project, which is called the Pearl Diver, which is actually based in the UAE as well, like the Year 5. So a lot of our work will be based upon that within the first 2 weeks. Then we will move on to looking at ID, and all of our work will be based on ID in Autumn 1. Autumn 2, we will be looking at Frozen Kingdom. Spring 1, we will be moving on to Hollow Mexico. Spring 2, Tomorrow's World. Summer 1, we'll be looking at Bloodheart. And Summer 2, we will be looking at our Groovy Greeks topic. I will just pass you on to Miss Jessica now.
So as you are aware, as you are aware, we have a home learning, not homework policy at GEMS Founders School, and we expect children in Upper Key Stage 2 to independently invest in their homeworking. So weekly they will be provided with spelling and handwriting and grammar activities, but we do expect children to monitor that themselves and be quite self-sufficient with that. We also offer lots of online website subscriptions, which again are really, really useful to support and complement the learning that your child does in the classroom. So for reading, we have book club. For maths, we have Mathletics and Timetable Rockstars. And for science and all the subjects, we have Education City. There's also half-termly projects that are relevant to that half-termly theme, and that will be distributed at the start of each half-term. Your child's class teacher will invite children to share their projects at the end of half-term, and all those that participate will receive some house points. So that's everything about home learning. Now, our behaviour system, we have very high expectations in Upper Key Stage 2. We expect all of our children to be kind, respectful, considerate, and we expect them to fully engage in their learning. As I'm sure you are aware, positive choices will be rewarded with house points, certificates and positive messages home. As you can see, we're continuing with our gems of the week this year. Unfortunately, any negative choices will result in an relevant and appropriate consequence. And it may be that your child's teacher speaks to you, your child's head of year, or myself, but hopefully we will not have to come to that. The one thing that is slightly different about this year is that we need all children to respect social distancing boundaries, and we will be quite firm with that. We will be quite firm about not breaking any kind of social distancing boundaries, because as you are aware, it's extremely important. And I am now going to pass on to Miss Chloe, I think, who's going to talk about healthy schools and uniform.
Okay, so at DFS, we are a school that does promote healthy eating. So you must ensure that all food that is packed into your child's lunchbox and that is brought into school is healthy. It is a nut-free school, so they shouldn't be brought into school. If your child does have an allergy, then the nurse will let class teachers know. However, if you do feel like you want to tell the class teacher as well, then that may also be a good idea. Now, this is something that has changed since last year due to the safety of the children. So the water dispensers are not available in school as they were previously. So it is really important that the water that you send in with your child is enough for them for the day. Okay, so maybe 2-3 bottles of water so that it will last them, because they will not be able to get that from the water dispensers at school. Now, the school will provide catering services based on pre-packaged food following the by municipality guidelines related to catering services. So the canteens are closed, but lunch can be pre-ordered online from Slices and delivered to the students in their classrooms. So they will no longer be able to go down and buy hot food. It will need to be pre-ordered, or you will need to send them with a pre-packed lunch. We will not be able to accept any healthy food deliveries for birthday celebrations due to obviously COVID restrictions. So unfortunately, that will not be able to happen this year. All children must be able to open their own lunch boxes and be provided with their own cutlery. So anything, for example, oh, I can't open my orange, could you do that for me, miss? Unfortunately, we won't be able to assist with anything like that. Moving on to uniform. So in school, children are expected to be wearing the correct full uniform every time they come into school. This includes black leather shoes and not trainers. And as you can see there on the screen, there are acceptable school shoes and then a pair of trainers which will not be accepted as school wear. As PE lessons will not be going ahead this year practical for term 1 and all the lessons will be theory based, children will not be changing into their PE kits. However, they can come into school wearing their PE kits on the days when they have PE if they wish to. Okay, I'll just pass back to Miss Jessica now.
So again, this has all been communicated to you, but we just wanted to reiterate that we will not be able to facilitate any early pickups during this time of blended learning. So for example, if your child has a medical appointment that day, it is recommended that they opt to learn from home that day, as we will not be able to allow you to collect your child at any other point aside from at home time. If your child is going to be absent from learning, whether that is in school or distance learning, you must email your child's class teacher before the end of registration at 7:50 AM so they can record that on the register. If not, your child will be given an unauthorised absence and that will reflect in their end of year report. So, in regards to communication this year, this week you will be invited to a 5 to 10 minute welcome chat with your child's class teacher via Teams. You will receive this invite through email. You will need to have created a Teams account and all you need to do is press the Join Team meeting at your allocated time to start the meeting. For example, it looks just like the little image on the PowerPoint there. D6 will be our primary form of communication. So any notices, any main information, any reminders will go on D6. Things will also be posted on your child's class Teams, but it's really, really important that if you do not already have the D6 app, you can scan those QR codes here to download it. If you do have any concerns, it's vital that you follow the correct procedure because as a leadership team, we want to help you in the most effective way possible. Now, hopefully you will not have any concerns. However, in the event that you do, the step 1 is to contact your child's class teacher. Give them 48 hours to respond. If in the event that there is no response or you still have that concern, you then need to contact your child's head of year. So for year 5, that is Mr. Ben, and for year 6, that is Mr. Chloe. If you are, sorry, Miss Chloe, I'm so sorry, Miss Chloe. If you are still unhappy, then that's when you would contact me as head of Key Stage. And then if this is necessary, I will then raise that with our head of school, Mr. John, or our deputy heads of school. Please be aware that if you do skip any of these steps, the leaders that you do email will send that back down to the class teacher first. So it's really important that we follow that process. So, final thoughts. Remember to look out for that Meet the Teacher invite via email from your child's class teacher, and you will be able to speak to them about your child. Any concerns that you may have should be able to be answered in that quick 5 to 10 minutes. I'd like to thank you for watching, and we look forward to a very successful year in Upper Key Stage 2. I haven't seen any questions appeared, so I hope that means that everything is super clear and no one has anything to ask. As always, if anything does come up, please contact your child's class teacher and they will hopefully be able to answer any questions or concerns that you have. So thank you again for watching, and I look forward to meeting you all either in person or virtually. Thank you, everybody.